Welcome to the Outsider Podcast with your host, Rav, and your other boy. And as we are stating again, we are going to be live on Twitch as well. Just got to make sure it's working because that is a very, very, very important.
See, guys,
Yes.
please put the noties on. Um,
And I think,
Notifications.
yeah, and I think we're online. So let's start this off. So, Ahmed, I've heard many things have happened to the markets in the last few days. Especially today. Today, the stock market has fallen quite a bit. It has fallen about roughly between 1 to 2%. That's in case of whatever you're looking at. Now, that doesn't seem huge. Crypto is also falling, but some stocks, such as Oracle, have fallen quite a bit. All right, my friend.
Interesting.
So, why is Oracle
Mm.
falling? Ahmed, how closely are you looking at Oracle?
Oracle has always been on my radar, and I think it's just part of the ebb and flow of the market. This is just a little shakeout. Shouldn't be. I'm not here to preach negative news or positive news. The best thing you could do is DCA across a bigger time span. In the short term, we've seen a drawdown. Cryptocurrency has also seen a drawdown. We're kind of getting bored, and boredom is a very dangerous thing for non-institutional investors. They want you to sell or die to getting in and out of the market. Every time you enter a position, they take a percentage out. The ecosystem that is investing um, ensures that the institutions are basically the casino, and the investors are the ones being eaten up on. And what I want to say is, when you watch this video, we break that down for you. We try and make it consumable, where you could understand it and understand our own theories. This is not financial advice, but we'll give it our best.
Oh yeah,
Larry Ellison
I'll start
here.
with it. Yeah, yeah. So I'll start with it. So pretty much, Oracle's one of the Oracle's biggest because these guys work with cloud centers. These guys do everything. So these guys are a big component in AI. But your boy OpenAI, all right, Sam Altman, all right, people are trying to get a little stressed out that hey man, this guy wants to invest a lot of money, but he does not have that money at the moment, right? So either a lot of people are going to have to start using ChatGPT and upgrading the tiers so that as OpenAI can actually produce his money. Otherwise, how are they supposed to pay back all these debt? Now imagine Oracle produces these $1 trillion worth of data centers of all this stuff right ahead of you, and then the person supposed to pay you can't pay you. What the hell do you do? Because remember, one thing about Oracle is they are right now the biggest company in AI that's using debt, right? So obviously they're using debt because they have to meet these obligations. But there's also a lot of other issues. Imagine you make all the data centers and then there's not enough energy, so you can't even use the data centers you created because you didn't have enough energy production, right? So these are all options, obviously, that I believe they are filling in they're filling it in. But one thing I want to remember: everybody can make $1 billion mistakes or even $1 trillion mistakes. All right, humans are only as arrogant as they are. Now, I'm not saying that Oracle might fail because Oracle might be playing the smartest move in history, assuming OpenAI falls through with getting AGI, and now they're the next big component of everything, right? So Oracle
Yeah.
might have more demand than ever before, but the problem is if OpenAI fails, if OpenAI does not reach enough money, if OpenAI is just so debt
Mhm.
ridden that they can't pay back their obligations, then
Mhm.
you see Oracle having to either sell this or find other buyers. And we all know the other big components in AI, such as like Google, who has Gemini, or
Mhm.
Tesla, they all have their own data centers as well. Not a lot of them are obviously relying on Oracle, but long term, not all of them are going to need it. OpenAI is clearly the biggest one who was making the least amount of money trying to jump into this, right? And you can think about Perplexity as well. There's a couple, but the big name players, they all have a lot of income that they're using to finance this. But OpenAI is using a lot of debt because, of course, they don't have the income right there.
I'm. I like how you broke that down. What we're trying to explain here, where I was, is I'll reiterate, is when you go to invest, you kind of break down as to where the profit is and how the company that you invested in is going to get the profit,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully that reflects in their price. And we're currently, what you have to take into consideration is the net money, what the money supply is doing. And a lot of these people that these bankers and even quant traders, what they speculate, what they use as a ruler is M2 and M1 money supply. And we're entering a state right now where what we're about to do quantitative easing, which means they're going to turn the money printer on, and we're going to see liquidity pour in to the system. And so I'm actually caught off guard as to how the stock market has currently dumped. It probably reflects another facet or another vector in the game theory perspective, the bigger picture. Um, what do you think is actually causing this micro downtrend? Because we have the news, we have positive news about quantitative easing right around the corner.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, a sign of quantitative. We have confirmation that they're going to reduce the interest rates.
Yeah, they're most,
And after
yeah,
that,
it looks like it, right? So there's a couple of things bullish. First of all, I don't want anybody to think there's such negative segment, because remember, day to day is emotion. Yesterday, stocks hit a new all time high, so we were right from hitting all time highs to having a little bit of a crash, right? A little bit of a correction. It's not even a crash, not even close. But on my U Pro, I definitely felt the crash in it, almost going down by 4 or 5%. But pretty much the main thing you guys got to remember is this is all speculation. All right, no one knows if OpenAI is going to be able to get these data obligations. For example, let's just say Gemini now starts to get so much more advanced than OpenAI. So why would you pay for OpenAI when you could just pay for Gemini? They're not going to be such a big price difference. It's only going to be the people who are consistently kept using one or the other, or who have preference. But for a majority of people that I know who actually are big into the space, they all they do is, they jump around to which one is the best. Now, obviously, if you have like a high schoolers or something that all the brand name is OpenAI at the moment, then I guess it is. But for anybody using Android, Google makes it pretty transparent that they own Gemini. That Gemini is very, very good, right? And again, so just if OpenAI fails as a business, every company that's associated with OpenAI loses all that portion. Did you see? But like, here's one thing: did you see Disney just threw $1 billion into OpenAI so that OpenAI for Sorrow can use its? They just did this, I believe, yesterday or the day before, so that OpenAI is now able to use some characters. I don't know which characters these are, but they might be like Mickey Mouse or any of the major characters from from Disney. And so it's fantastic, right? That's hyper news for OpenAI, but for OpenAI, which is again is carrying a lot of debt, and they're making a lot of debt obligations, so they don't have the funds, and they're like, hey, we're gonna give you this money, but you got to create this ahead of for us. It's making it into a speculation play, and obviously this could work out really good for Oracle, or this could backshot for Oracle very well as well. And yeah, it's a very interesting time, man. I think the only problem with this is, and I was listening to a podcast about this, is some big time investors in AI, or some big time players who know AI very well. I'm talking about the actual people who build the large language models, are saying we're still very far away from AGI. So now this is not my opinion, because I don't know. I'm not smart enough to differentiate this at this moment in time. I've not done enough research. But some people who are very intelligent are saying AGI is nowhere near close. And their reasoning behind it, which was the reasoning I was hearing today, is large language models by themselves are not so far ahead yet that they can figure out these problems. Large language model, have you noticed, from ChatGPT 1 to ChatGPT 2, huge leap. From ChatGPT 2 to ChatGPT 3, huge leap, but not as much as 1 to 2. ChatGPT 4, huge leap. ChatGPT 5, a very little of a leap. And then it's like, okay, when 6 comes out, when 7, when 8 comes out, when Gemini, next level of Gemini, when they're going to consistently get smaller and smaller on the amount of improvements they can get, because all of a sudden a big improvement becomes small, and now it's micro. And so they're saying that large language models still have a huge lot of room that's needed to build new technologies for them to actually work. And it might not even be large language models. It might be a different type of model that is actual AGI proof. So you don't know this yet, right? And so, like, is everybody going to wait till 2040 for OpenAI to finally come out with the AGI, or any of the other companies for that matter, right? And then is the hype going to even last that long? And so that's their thesis. And to that, I cannot say any indifference, right? I was also listening to a coder today, somebody who works at Google themselves, and they're talking about how they use AI, and they say that the jobs are probably going to get less 100%, because every single coder becomes more proficient at what they do.
Yeah, there's going to be less space for contractors.
Exactly. And so,
like I've talked with a guy in IT, and he's basically shared a similar notion to what you just suggested. They said that there is no confirmation on future IT work.
Exactly.
Not only within coding, but the IT realm has seen similar drawbacks.
And it's like OpenAI, right? Like the last episode we did, we talked about OpenAI going code red, where they have given up a little bit on these projects, and they've all focused on the actual model of OpenAI, trying to make it better than Gemini. And the thing is, like I said, it's reaching a level. So OpenAI's up here, Google's up here, but getting to this position is not that big of a leap. But now it's going to be like this. And if AGI is way up there, then we're still way far ahead, right? And who's to know that any of these companies actually reach AGI? What if it's a different company entirely, right? Like again, we have to understand we don't know what we know until we know what we know. So it's just a waiting game, and it's an interesting play, which is why again I'm very speculative to invest into these types of companies that only are drilling on AI, and it's one of the reasons why I keep saying that I think Alphabet, Google, is going to become the most valuable company in the world because although they're primarily focused in many aspects. But AI is clearly one of their most profitable ones, one of their most engagement ones. But they have a lot of other backdrops too. So even if all of the AI hype dies down, big AI crash, there's still so much intrinsic value of Google's products that I am not too worried at all. They just released another browser it's not open to the community yet, but it's like an AI browser where it's going to be if it sees that you do all these on various tabs, it's going to put it into one tab where you can do everything. So it sounds like a good idea. We'll see how it's actually implemented. But just like that, OpenAI, you don't hear stuff like this coming out a lot. Now, obviously, they came out
No,
with Sora, and it was beautiful at
I,
Kings, but
I personally use Gemini. Yeah,
yeah,
I still use Gemini.
exactly, right? And so you're going to have your brand name associated with it, but it's just like what I'm saying is, do you know one way, and this always comes out to it, is one way to defeat your enemies is if you have a lot more money than them, you just keep outspending them. and it truly does work, right? There's only so much debt. Like what happens, bro? What happens if you spent so much money in OpenAI and it actually just goes bust? What are you going to do? What if it's a recession? What if a recession comes out that's completely out of OpenAI's hands? And it's not even about the fact that, hey, OpenAI just can't raise any more money because nobody has money. So what do you do in that situation, right?
You're identifying one of the many bottlenecks.
Mm-hmm.
So there's several that we've mentioned. We talked about a lot of this stuff
Mm-hmm.
in earlier podcasts, and I look no further when I go about generating a thesis around this topic than the CEO of NVIDIA. And the CEO of NVIDIA has been to China, and he suggested that they're actually more ready on the energy sector
Yeah, I
side.
agree with that.
They have more energy, and America is going into
Energy
a state where
renaissance.
they're going to come up with a solution to this because they're obviously they're going to fight the war, the AI war,
Alberta.
and yeah, and not only that,
Yeah,
space, Alberta and space,
yeah,
and the reason that Alberta is so important, and right now, if you guys live in Alberta, it's really cold. It's like minus 21
yeah, man,
or minus
freezing.
20 with
I'm
wind.
spraying
With chill.
spraying something to clean the car and it's freezing. As I'm spraying it, it's crazy.
Yeah, you told me that earlier today.
Yeah.
But this is a highly efficient environment for databases because they have thermal throttling and so on. And space is also has the same kind of the value proposition of being cold, and you could put solar panels into the
Yeah, but
into
the
space and
solar
get
panel play, bro. But like, truthfully, it's so far out. It's not anywhere near the next 10, 20 years. Because
But Elon Musk is ready. Elon
yeah,
Musk
yeah, yeah, yeah.
is
But one thing we have to remember about our boy Elon Musk, and I'm the biggest Elon Musk lover. Okay, is our boy says stuff multiple years before
he's a visionary. He's a
anything new. He's
visionary.
a
Yeah.
visionary, yes, exactly, right, and that's true, right? I even find myself doing that when I'm thinking about, yo, I'm gonna be a trillionaire, but how to become, but not next year, right? I'll say, oh, in 3 years I'm not gonna be a trillionaire. I was gonna
Big
keep
picture mode.
exactly 100,000% up every single year until I reach that, but. Pretty much, it's just like that, right? So you have to look at the long scape of things. Of course, once the biggest bottleneck is going to be land. So once you can't build data centers in the sea, which I'm sure they're going to somehow get to, is the only next bottleneck is
Low,
up. Exactly, yeah, keep
low
going up.
orbit space.
Exactly, low
Yeah.
orbit space, right? And so there's a lot of things with that. Just the behind it makes no sense at this moment in time because we don't have the technology to do this yet. We don't have the technology to radiate because remember, in space you have to radiate heat. You can't heat just doesn't go out because there's no other particles connected to it. So you can't radiate that. How do you maintain that? How do you make sure micro stuff doesn't hit it? Because remember, stuff like that goes 100,000 kilometers an hour, destroys. It happens a lot for space shuttles and satellites, right? And so, but I do think if anybody's going to do it, I do think it'll be SpaceX. I don't think there'll be any doubt about that. And now, jumping into our next topic, which is SpaceX and how Elon Musk has hinted at an IPO in 2026. Ahmed, are you going to be an investor in SpaceX?
I actually think that SpaceX is part of Elon Musk's bread and butter. He wants to become an interstellar. Um, he wants to impact humanity in a way that we become an interstellar
Civilization.
race, the civilization.
Mm-hmm.
Which means that they get to, we get to live in multiple. I like the thesis. But one of the things I pay more attention to is the infrastructure that he's building and what he suggested earlier about how his X payment platform, will be a huge. Word
Be
for
the
word, he said
WeChat
this about
of
account.
the Americas or the
He
Western
said that
world.
it'll exactly
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
He said this is his words. He said X will account for half of the world's money transactions. So he's putting a lot of stuff in space.
Mm-hmm.
He's interested in it. Interested in becoming an interstellar planet,
Mm-hmm.
and he's building the technology that's required to
Yeah.
fulfill that.
It's
And I think that
definitely
I would
it's
definitely invest in SpaceX. That's 100%. But I would also take note of the other projects that he's doing and thoroughly investigate
mhm.
what he's speculating
I
on.
think SpaceX just for the satellite because there's two conversations. There's either he's gonna put the entire company as an IPO or he's gonna separate the Starlink division from the SpaceX division. But I don't think he'll do that because then you can't. I do believe Starlink is a huge asset creator in terms of income. So it's a huge income
Mm.
creation and that funds the rockets that you have to use to space because it's not cheap to do that. So I think he'd package it as one
But
deal.
he's actually very like he's the reason that you should listen to Rav here is because he's developed rockets that could go up and come back
Yeah,
and land safely.
yeah, a lot of
He's
people
done that.
discredit him, right? So the thing is, I don't think there's any other company, not even NASA, that has the level of engineers that SpaceX does, right? Because the one thing you have to remember is the people who are the best go towards where the action's happening, right? And
Yeah.
so SpaceX, well before Amazon released its rockets that are going to go to space, I forgot what it's even called right now. And regardless of any other companies, SpaceX was the first one. They were doing it when
Mhm.
there was nobody in the space. It's like you know how we talked about Amazon data centers. Amazon was creating AWS before anybody even realized what the hell a data center was. No one was
Visionary.
yeah,
Visionary.
no, it was like 5, 6, 7 years way ahead of the crowd, and that's why they've reaped
Mhm.
such rewards. At one time, 50 cents of every dollar they'll spend on the internet was spent with an Amazon service, and it's insane. And you think Amazon's
So
like regular?
What Rav is articulating here, and I really think is important to get to the viewer,
Hmm.
because I really like what you said.
Hmm.
What you want to be is part of the early adopters,
Of course.
and early adopters see the highest return multiplier of value.
Hmm.
And so the
You know.
reason that Rav is mentioning
Uh-huh.
AWS, they're doing it so early, and if you picked up on that, you would have been part of the early adopters.
Yeah,
And right now, you could be an early adopter of what the visionary Elon
exactly.
Musk is
And
trying to accomplish.
Amazon by itself has just it's done insane since the 2000s. And so that company could have made you so rich so fast. And so the opportunity is still here. Now, how would I do
So
this play?
what would you have done if you were
Hmm.
to simulate the reality? You have insight that Amazon's doing all this stuff. You
Hmm.
read about it. You understand
If I
it.
wasn't a
That's
kid,
a
man,
good basis.
I think that time you should be 100%
Exactly, yeah.
invest into Amazon, invest in the future, right? If you had the insight's everything. But this is how I see the SpaceX. Like this is my trade. This is what I'm gonna do. Because the thing with Elon Musk is his hype is real. He can pump up anything. And when SpaceX drops, I promise you,
It's
the
too big to
first day,
fail.
the first thing is that stock is going to double, triple, quadruple in the first day, and I'm not going to be a part of it. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. So
What are you going to do?
I'm so the only two ways I'm going to invest in SpaceX is I'm either going to wait. So first, I could buy the stock before its IPO, right? As
Yeah.
an acquired investor, you're able to do that. Second thing I'm going to do is if let's just say that fails, is I'm not going to buy on the first day because of course I think I can triple my money in one day, but I just don't want to take the risk just in case they price it by the way something incredibly high. You never know what's going to happen on the market. But
Yeah.
what I will do is because again this is a company not that I'm trying to trade. I'm just trying to have a long term play. I'm gonna wait until Elon Musk says something on X that he regrets. Because it happens, it will never go away. I believe Elon
He's
Musk
done
is
it
just a visionary.
before. He's done it before, but
Yeah.
how has he done it? I remember you explained this in the other podcast.
Well,
If you guys want to go back and see it,
yeah.
or Raph will just reiterate it real quick,
Yeah.
please.
There's
What was it?
many
I
well
remember this.
there's
He
hundreds of
shot
times where
himself
he's
in
done
the
that.
foot.
Okay, there's hundreds of times. But
Oh,
one of the most blatant times, all right, that they would just why'd you do this is he just tweeted out Tesla price is too high right now.
yeah, that one.
Why would you say this? And as soon as he said it, 10, 20% drop. And the SEC is like, yo man, somebody needs to control his Twitter and you're not allowed to use it, blah blah blah. Went through a whole bunch of scandals. The thing is, like again, everybody always wonders why I like Elon so much. And the thing is, I'm not talking about his character, but you know, if Nikola Tesla was alive today, I do believe he'll be the exact same as Elon. Just somebody who just states their mind and doesn't hold back because you have to be a little crazy like that. And so Elon Musk,
I
he
think he would
this
chill near his pigeons a little longer, but yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
maybe. Again, it's just how I think things. So in his day
He
and age,
prefers
people thought,
pigeons.
yeah,
Nikola Tesla, at
Uh-huh.
the end of his life,
Uh-huh.
preferred pigeons
The
over
people.
people.
Yeah, but think of it like this. And so, but in reality, right? Same thing. People used to say he's crazy. People say to this, blah, blah, blah. It was only after he's dead that people really started to use this technology, right? And of course, and again, there's actually a story I read about Nikola Tesla. And this is going to be crazy. I want to tell you the
Yeah,
story real quick.
yeah, yeah.
So he had the patent to his product because his product eventually became the best while he was alive. And the
Yeah.
thing is, the company that was building his stuff that gave him the patent, and it was something incredible. If he took all the money, it would have bankrupted that company, but he would have become the richest person alive. Nikola Tesla would have been the
Yeah.
richest person alive at that time, right?
And
So
what did
that
he do?
the owner of the company went to him and said, Nikola, buddy, I know we have an agreement here. I'm trying to change the world with you. I'm trying to produce this, but if I give you the royalties that you deservedly own, we will go
Mm.
bankrupt. And Nikola Tesla said, forget about it. He did not take the rightful stuff that would have made him the richest man alive in anywhere in the world. And he decided to not take it for the fucking boost of science. You got to listen to the story. It's insane. I'm not sure if you heard the last part. I think I just zoned out for a second. But yeah,
Yeah.
if you heard that story, my friend,
You kind of like. Mhm.
yeah.
I
But
think it embodies the masculine sacrificial interpretation. I don't know
uh,
what you guys' opinions are on this, but like leave them in the comments. He sacrificed himself for the greater good.
yeah,
He
well, yeah, it
is
wasn't a money thing to him, right? And I'm telling you this as a dude, as he died, a dude who didn't have a lot. So he, at the end of his life, did not have a lot, but he could have been the richest man in the entire world. And Elon Musk seems like a very similar dude to me. He's willing to risk it all for what he wants to do. And the thing is, I know here, if regardless of how up SpaceX goes, small everything, and no matter what company it is, just like how Doge, I'm talking about the coin, or Shiba Inu, the hype dies down no matter who is there, no matter if it's Roaring Kitty, no matter if it's GameStop, no matter what, eventually the hype will down. So don't buy the stock when it's 4 times the price in one day because that is not a good long-term investment. The price will go down because it will go down. Just how
because
markets
it's a
work.
reflection. It's
Yeah,
a reflection of mass psychology, and the word economy suggests that someone will have and someone else will not. And the
exactly.
nature of that will play out in the stock market
Yeah, you
over
have
and
to
over
control your
again.
emotion because, man, eventually Amazon's going to come up with a really good rocket too. They have the resources to do it, and then guess what happens? People are going to be like, "Oh, let me bet on this," and go against Tesla, go against SpaceX, do this. It's going to go to a volatile time. Every single company, and you can look at this, that goes up crazy is also going to come down crazy. You can see this with every IPO.
You know,
It's very, very
the,
rare. I'm telling you, it's almost never that when an IPO
yeah,
happens, the first day price is what the price is a year ago. If you check what actually the historical averages, it's usually about
mhm.
66% down from what the IPO
Yeah,
price is.
and like,
So don't be one of
people
those
sell.
guys who just
Early people sell right away, right?
exactly right.
They
Well, you're
hold
gonna
the
see
stock and they
you're
sell.
gonna see people drop. But again, the whole sentiment is the company was never worth that. When you IPO, the point that you IPO is what the people are betting that your price is supposed to be valued at. So if your value is $30 per your share, and all of a sudden now it's 90, that's 3 times the value of the entire business that was predicted one day ago. It does not make
You know,
sense doing that. Hmm?
to be honest, I feel like AI. There's an inefficiency here because the consensus and how they invest reflects on the market, and the market influences everyone's quality of living.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if AI were to come into the mixture, IPOs would no longer be a thing
Uh-huh.
because it would find the most efficient way. It wouldn't have any. There wouldn't be profiteering on mass psychology. It would just find the real intrinsic value and fulfill it. It would allocate,
Well,
resources.
it's
You know
true.
what I'm saying?
It's
Elon Musk is obsessed with one thing,
mm-hmm.
and I know the viewers probably not interested in anything but money and like investing and getting to get a result of listening to a visionary. But the thing is, visionaries prior to the information age of the internet were alienated. So like Nikola Tesla was chilling with the pigeons because he's
People.
when you're so far ahead of the mass consensus, what they agree on, you're almost an alien to them.
Yeah.
You guys don't see eye to eye. Like there's a guy that was imprisoned because he went against the thoughts of he was jailed
By the
because he,
churches.
you know exactly what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, I know.
Yeah,
His
and
book was burned, because he was saying that the world is round, not flat. Yeah, I
he's a
recall.
visionary,
Visionary.
and no one saw eye to eye with him.
Mhm.
And the same thing happened with Elon early on with Elon, but the difference is what? What's the difference, Rav? It's the information age.
Yeah.
Information age
You don't
brought
listen to
a
one
lot of
person,
the
right?
attention.
Mhm. The thing is,
It's a new
I very
technology.
much agree with you because eventually they'll just be AI just trying to outsource each other. The thing is, the one thing I think we do want to
Exactly. We're in a
remember,
new age.
yeah, but I do want to point out that humans, you can find the intrinsic value of a stock now. There's a formula to do it. But there's also the
Yeah.
same people who are like, yo, buddy, I'm gonna grow this to 100% right now. I'm just doing
Mm.
bro trading or whatever the hell you want to do, or just game trading, or just whatever. Like a lot of people,
Mm.
there will always be stupidity of people, and that'll always happen. It's gonna happen with SpaceX. I promise you. Put this down today. When SpaceX appears, whether it's $30 a stock, it's gonna go to 90 in one day, 3, 4,
You're
5x.
identifying what I'm really trying to identify. As I like the notion that you're bringing up.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the human psychology and part of the consensus is insanity. And insanity plays out in, oh my God, I lost so much money, I gotta sell, and then the stock goes up, and or
Exactly.
IPO, need to buy right
Everybody knows
away, and
not
then
to
the
do
stock
it.
goes down.
Everybody knows not to do it, but they do it anyway.
But when you translate that to the AI, insanity is not part of the AI's
But it's
configuration.
it's based on the thing I'll say is it's
What I'm,
based
what I'm
on
asking, I'm
the.
asking a question.
Mhm, mhm.
If AI were to imply more control over the stock market and asset ownership, what would happen to society?
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Remember how we talked about Renaissance technologies? So we talk about your boy Jim Simmons. All right,
Printing
Jim
press
Simmons uses
or
an AI,
Renaissance? Sorry,
exactly
I
uses
thought the
AI,
literal ones.
and they're
Yeah, yeah,
making
technologies.
70% return a year. Insane.
Yeah, yeah.
But let's not
Mhm.
forget that if they use too much money, what happens? They get negative returns. And if everybody has access to the same technology, then guess what? The market is still as volatile as ever because everybody's doing the perfect trades. Everybody's selling at the exact same time, everyone's buying at the exact same time. The stock's going down, up, straight there. There's still a lot of volatility. I think the basis of what you
The
want to
only
know.
profit. What I'm trying to explain is you only profit
Mhm.
when you diverge from the consensus approved of or understood stock value.
Yeah.
But when you take that away, when AI because here's the thing, um, if we were to crash Tesla right now, if we were to just go crazy and sell Tesla,
Hmm.
it would imply a negative implication on the consensus. All of us would see a reduced quality of life. Correct?
Exactly. Yes. I
When you
agree.
introduce AI into the system, it would get rid of that inefficiency. There wouldn't be
But
there wouldn't be
disagreed. Disagreed. For example, like this. Like, okay, so
asset ownership. What
the
I'm asking you is asset ownership. Should it stay within human grasp because insanity is susceptible?
hmm
AI is not cannot go insane, and therefore it would find it.
hmm
A, you know what I'm
So
saying?
for this, we'd have to first AGI would have to first be invented. So that's already a far fetch. Then after
Yeah,
AGI is prevented, after it's created, CEOs will have to be replaced with robots. Because remember, one thing is,
exactly. Yeah.
remember this is, regardless, even if the markets trade on AI, if I'm the CEO of a
Mhm.
company and I have a sex scandal tomorrow, or I don't even want to say something like that, but I have some sort of scandal
I'm not saying
that,
that
yeah, I'm just
news.
putting myself on. But
There's a news
if
article.
I have anything that's a scandal, all of a sudden that scandal drops, what's going to happen to the stock price? Or even if the intrinsic value of the business is very good, the guy running the business is bad. What's going to happen to the stock price, right?
That's the detriment of the stock value relative to the quality of living of an individual.
Mm-hmm.
If it were to suffer, it's going to go down.
Mm-hmm.
Would it reflect negatively on the person or positively? AI will be able to discern whether or not this will be a negative impact on the consensus everybody,
Mm-hmm.
and it would eliminate this disconnect of mass. You know what I mean? Mass
No,
psychology.
I understand
What
because working with
intelligence.
numbers is a very thing, but we still have to remember is the mass amount of people will still be investing, whether they're investing with AI or nothing. That AI is going to be doing what the human wants. Like for example, if I think that these stocks are going to go up, right? And
Yeah,
AI is telling me no, who's the person going to listen to? If somebody is very confident in their decision, they might go against AI. If somebody is not
yeah,
confident in their decision, they might listen to AI. But the AI you're
yeah.
using, just like how you have Gemini or ChatGPT, will most likely be a bunch of different ones that are not programmed the same. Because remember, AGI is only going to be as good as the people who program it. So at the end of the
Yes.
day, you're still going to have differences. So I think like the markets will always be moving money. It'll be a lot
Because
harder though, right?
Elon Musk disagrees. Elon Musk disagrees with you. I think his name is Jack Ma, the guy who made
Yeah, yeah,
Alibaba.
yeah.
He said that robots will never be more intelligent than humans.
Yeah,
And
disagreed.
Elon Musk is like, wait,
Disagreed.
because Elon Musk is currently building
But I have a question for
in
you.
like
But see, there's
this.
one. There's
I'm
wait.
not making, let me get this up.
But you're saying one thing wrong. One mistake, big mistake that I see in your consensus,
Yeah,
and that
yeah.
mistake is you're speaking about if robots are smarter than us, the AI still works for us. The asset allocation is not owned to the AI; it's owned to us. Now, if you're
Consciousness,
yeah,
consciousness.
if you're owning something else, like you're saying robots take
You
over,
can-
I don't think robots will care about the stock market. I don't think any AI is going to care about the stock market. It's only we who care about the stock market.
I'm gonna give you a theoretical
Hmm.
because I understand exactly what you're implying.
Hmm.
But my question was, if one person owned everything,
Hmm.
then it would be he basically could not sell it, right?
Hmm.
And if you were to reflect that in like let's say 3 or 5 people own everything, because that's what's going to happen. these huge AI companies are going to take up a bunch of jobs, and it's gonna cause a social problem.
Yeah, it's gonna be UBI or Universal Basic Income.
Yeah, but the thing is, universal basic income is not going to be the same tangible value as the currency that we use today. It'll be completely different.
Yeah, of course. It'll just be based on what it is, right? But the
It'll be a
UBI,
coupon.
the thing with the thing that leads to UBI is way more efficiencies in everything. Like if you ask the vast majority of people what they did during COVID, what did they do?
It's spending on food.
Buddy, they were getting UBI. They were spending on food. They were finding. Now a lot of
Yeah,
people didn't
yeah,
find purpose, but a lot of people also found purpose. Like if just this a
yes.
very non popular view, I would say a lot of people are like, oh, I would miss not going on hikes. I miss socializing. For me, I did not care, buddy. I'm telling you, I took that money. All right, I was having the time of my life. All right, I was like,
I
yo,
invested
put
99%. Yeah.
I was like, put me in lockout for another 2 years. I'm chilling. I'm happy. I can see my friends from a distance. But a vast majority of people will say, no. I want to go do stuff. I want to go do this. The thing is, you can search the entire world. You can do a lot of things, right? I think like finding meaning. Even like a job, right? Like you've noticed it as well. Even myself, if you do a job for a long enough period of time, if you don't do it, then you feel bored at home. You don't feel like you know what you're doing. You don't feel like
Yes.
you're doing anything, right?
Yes.
And so thing is the same like figuring this out is just the next consensus in people. Like I see UBI as being the next level up for people. Obviously initially it's gonna be very, very
Exactly.
bad.
Exactly the conversation. The reason I wanted to ask these questions, the reasons that I wanted you state your point is because Elon Musk is infatuated and is obsessed with this reality.
Mhm.
And it's a reality of you cannot find as much purpose or you will have to identify purpose.
But
And
I
one
think
of the
it's a lot like. But one putting against that. Sorry, I don't want to cut you off. But one way
what
to
are your
one way to find purpose is not working 40 hours a week. I think you can. I think if you find purpose, you can find purpose.
there's a joy to there is a joy within
Accomplishment,
work.
yes, of course, accomplishment.
Yeah. But when you take that away, you're actually left with less.
But I think about with the props. If you can make AI do 99% of the jobs, then the next level of step is making your people smarter so they're able to find more purpose in your life. Because purpose is a self-bid thing, right? The things that make you feel
I'll tell
purposeful.
you my opinion. I'll
Hmm.
tell you my opinion.
Hmm.
I feel like I'm going to sound insane. I'm going to be alienated online after saying this, but
Let's
I
hear it,
think
buddy.
that when you have synthetic consciousness like artificial intelligence,
Hmm.
you get synthetic results,
Hmm.
and the meaning of life will lie in video games.
Hmm.
When video games are a synthetic, when you go to work and you have an intrinsic value as a result of your work,
Yeah.
the only thing that would be in parallel with the thesis of AI UBI would be you would start to play video games to feel fulfillment, but it would be synthetic fulfillment.
Hmm.
What I think is that we shouldn't open the beast. We shouldn't open Pandora's box per se. We shouldn't open AI. We should go to nature.
Hmm.
We should go to non-synthetic means of finding fulfillment.
Hmm.
We should go to community-based social societies
Hmm.
where you do socialize,
These
and
are
it's not.
yeah. These are really good things that you're gonna find out. But again, I guess the beautiful part is, I guess we only find out these things when they have happened, and so we will see when these things exactly happen, right? We'll see what the good is, what the bad is, the things that we're gonna be doing. It's gonna be all over the place, but it's gonna be
I'm
messy.
gonna
I
say
can
this.
promise it's gonna be messy.
It will. It will.
But
There's no
the
time.
other thing is, we all start putting this in a direction where it all happens at once. I think it's going to
No,
be.
that's
I think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be as bad as it is because it's going to
100%
be
gradual.
slowly. Exactly, right? Like we looking at humanoid robots. First, we're going to see humanoid robots come out. That's $30,000-$40,000. Like there's this one really good. I think. What's that phone company? Uh, the ones who made like
No,
the instructor Nokia. Yeah, they are one of or no Hyundai. Sorry, Hyundai. Hyundai actually has one of the most advanced
that's not
robots
company,
of.
brother. That's not
Yeah,
a
I
phone.
know. But Hyundai has one of
It's
the
okay.
most
You're saying.
advanced robots in the entire world. Literally the best, and it's based on hydraulics. So they have hydraulic everything. The thing is, to put that into servicing, that thing would cost like $500,000. So there's no viable option of mass producing this product, right? So then what's gonna happen is the next version come out. So what's gonna happen is some businesses are going to buy some of them, test them out, see the flaws, then they're going to keep going, and then just like cars, or how cars should have been, they get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. Now, as these guys get cheaper and cheaper, you're going to see people 1 person to every 3 robots or 1 person to 3 every
You're
robots. But
speculating. I
yeah,
like that you're speculating, but I always use my bread and butter. What do I
well,
mean
what's
by
your bread
this?
and butter?
Look at Larry Ellison,
Hmm.
and he tells you what the design is for his vision. Because the truth of the matter is, visionaries need to have money to see their vision play
Of
out.
course,
Or you could be Nikola Tesla, where you only get recognized when Wi-Fi
pigeons.
5G picks up in 2025.
Uh-huh.
He literally made the world. He
The way it
influenced the
is.
world
Yeah, yeah. He's a
profoundly.
big component of how we live today. But yeah,
But
it's
Larry
it's
Ellison,
it's a
Larry
very.
Ellison says
Mhm,
15-minute cities.
mhm,
Car ownership is gone.
mhm.
I'm outlining what they
I
say. These
know
are not
car
like
ownership is gone, but I don't think this has anything to do with Larry Ellison. That's just the way of how things are going to work.
but
Cars are getting way
Larry
too expensive.
Ellison is what I'm trying to tell you is Larry Ellison is collaborating with Elon, and they can prove this with you go literally Google this or AI this.
Hmm.
He spent 250 million. Don't listen to what they say. Watch what they do. He spent 250 million US dollars, not like some random currency,
Hmm.
to an architecture firm that put together 15-minute cities in his own. He wanted his vision
Yeah,
is
but
getting
brother,
play out in
during
15-minute
the
cities.
entirety of history, this is how everything's played out. Everybody always has visions of how this direction is going to go. The truth
But
is, nobody knows
it
anything, right?
rhymes. Yeah, I
Exactly,
see.
exactly. So we're going to
But
see how it
who are
goes
you
out.
going to bet on?
But what's the
Who are you
bad?
going to bet on? Are you going to bet on
No, no, I'm not going to bet on any of the
my
companies
dear
of today.
Jesus?
I'll tell you what I'll bet on. All right.
Oh,
None of these companies,
oh,
Larry Ellison, none of these companies right now have anything that's a major portion. The thing is, they're until we see actual usage case of this stuff, which is still 10, 20 years away, because mass like
no,
even
it's not. I disagree.
no, it's 10,
2030.
20,
The
20
specialists gave
no,
us
it's not.
deadlines for the robotics.
Yeah,
And
and
they've already done
everybody's
this.
wrong. Everybody's wrong.
They
Everybody's wrong.
manufactured a
I'll tell
car in
Ahmed,
Germany.
Ahmed, Ahmed. I'll tell you.
Did you
I'll
see
tell you.
the video?
Ahmed,
Did you
Ahmed,
see the video
Ahmed. Let me tell you
where a
something.
car was manufactured?
Mhm.
Sorry to cut you off. I have to let you know
Yeah, yeah.
because
From top to bottom with
this is
robots,
astounding.
right?
Completely all
Yeah, yeah.
robots.
But again, that's one car. That's assuming nothing goes wrong, and they don't mass produce them. Also, that car is not street legal because it's not. It doesn't work right. The thing is, Tesla did the same thing too. They automated everything, and then they de-automated everything because they realized humans did it better than the robots. Go read Elon Musk's book. He literally says it
So
himself.
you're saying AGI. That's a good point. I never knew that.
Hmm. So
They
Tesla
automated the
by
whole
themselves,
process.
who had the best technology in the world for developing cars, because they literally went from one to the other really
But
quickly.
this is pre artificial intelligence.
No,
This
no, no.
data
This
set's
this was like this was
corrupted.
this was like 3 years ago. Even with AI,
Yeah,
with
dude, quantum computing
uh
was not there.
quantum computing is
Quantum,
still not anywhere effective. Think about
wait,
quantum
wait, wait,
computing.
wait. I'm serious. Yes.
Hmm.
So for you to have a valid statement, you must
No,
prove that
Ahmed.
quantum computing
Here's this
on
thing.
this.
Here's this thing. What has quantum computing done today? What has it done today that has changed the world?
Well, it's worth like literally
It
more
no,
than 10%.
exactly. It hasn't done anything. The thing is, it's speculation on what it
In
can
a
do.
meaningful way,
Ahmed, if you have
it's done some
something,
stuff.
yeah, yeah.
I'm
No, no,
serious.
no.
I'm serious.
It's
Within
fixed a
China,
math problem. It fixed a
within
math problem that was gonna that we already knew the answer to. That takes 10,000 years into this. But again,
there we
Ahmed,
go.
Ahmed. Okay, listen. This just like how people get everything confused.
It's
Everybody asked.
yeah,
You remember how OpenAI? They said, "Oh, OpenAI, it tried to escape it because it was going to get shut down." It wasn't true.
they
It wasn't.
blackmailed
Yeah,
the
it wasn't
CEO. Is that what you're
true. It
talking
wasn't
about?
true. Do you know what actually happened? I'll tell you what happened.
Well,
It blackmailed it because that's what the coders asked it to do. They
okay,
asked
that's it.
ChatGPT how if
So
we were going to shut you down and you wanted to survive, what would you have done? And then it gave out
my
this
best
plan.
answer, my best interpretation of this is during the information age, access to narrative creation is power,
Hmm.
no longer money.
Hmm.
Money's secondary. Narrative creation is power, and
Hmm.
therefore, the people who are in control of narrative creation,
Hmm.
whether it's TikTok, Instagram, or CBC News,
Hmm.
demographics, different tools to get their attention,
Hmm.
will have absolute control. So, what you're telling me is it was false.
It wasn't in the same generic way that people are saying of, oh my god, it was trying to escape. It was not even close.
It's,
They asked it,
it's
how are you going to survive if we're trying to shut you
if
down?
AI,
Yeah,
if
they
AI walked into your room right now and shot you with a gun,
bro,
theoretically,
AI right now is only reverberating everything that we're saying. I said that word completely wrong. It has no actual steps.
regurgitate.
Like I told you, you don't know if AGI is going to come at 2040 or 2050 or 2030. We have no idea. Even if AGI comes here, it still takes time for humans to
What do
build
you think
these.
first? What do you think is
These
first?
human,
World
these
War?
human what's one second, listen. Human robots right now. I'm looking at the forefront of every technology of human robots. There's 5 main
Yeah,
companies that are building robots. None of them
yeah.
are even close to production. They are only produced prototypes. There's one literally that is you're gonna go in your home that has no
China.
yeah, not the China one. It was an American company, but people made a big scene about it because they said, oh, it's not AI. It's a human person looking at through the camera trying to help you
Oh,
with
yeah.
your daily tasks, and it can only do
Best
two
thing you
tasks,
have, you're right. I
and
heard this. I heard about this.
it still can't even do those correctly.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
You are identifying
Hmm.
what this is what the specialists say. Large language models need a large
Can I ask you a question,
language.
Ahmed? I'm gonna say
They need
one
a
thing to you.
database. They're training.
I'm one thing,
They're
one thing. Wait,
listen, listen, man.
listen. One thing I'll say to you, okay? Because you keep saying perfected by 2030. I'm gonna tell you something. Do you know how many recalls Ford just had last week on every one of its cars? Do you
No.
not think they're using AI? Multiple billion-dollar companies using AI. They are. Do you know how many recalls Toyota just had? The number one car company in the world? A bunch. So you're telling me the company that
So
mass
now,
produces millions and millions and millions of cars using
okay,
AI,
yeah.
using people, using the
So
best
right.
engineers in the world, and they still have
Don't get me wrong.
recalls.
Don't get me wrong.
And
I
you think
fucking
we're
agree with
anywhere
you.
near? We have no
But
perfection on anything
listen,
yet.
listen, man. You know what? You think big picture, so do I.
Hmm.
And if you watch our podcast like 10 years ago, the 100th, there was a there was a podcast where I was sitting there telling Rab what he's fucking telling me right now.
Mhm.
I was telling him AI is bullshit. Everything's gonna hit the fan and it's
Everything's
gonna
gonna
be
hit the
shit
fan. It's
everywhere.
gonna be dead.
But I really like the points he brought up.
Mhm.
I think that we can't just absolutely disregard,
Again, the
your
thing
old
is,
opinion.
you might
So
be
you had
completely
an old
right.
opinion that
I
you said
might be
AI
completely right. Yeah, no one
was
knows.
is going to be so useful. But the
No,
thing
no,
is, as
I do. It's just a timeline. I think timeline is where me and you
I
disagree
agree
on.
with you,
We and you both
I
have a
agree with
completely agree. It's just timeline. For me, I don't think.
you. We're both nuanced. I think we both have nuanced interpretation.
Yeah.
And what I wanted to do to get this conversation to chew, so that there's, not just me saying yes, Rav, yes, Rav.
Mhm.
I wanted to create a situation where I tell you, hey, when they have these robots, the humans that are training them to move, that data set is being compiled and used to teach these AI to function alone when
By the way,
humans are not
one
operating.
last thing I wanted to just mention before we end off, because we're at 42 minutes, is Waymo is starting in Toronto. Did you hear?
Okay, so you're telling me it's real.
It's real, but the automated. Did you? But at the same time, so it's very interesting. We'll see how it goes, right? I want to see it in Calgary. We'll see if it gets big cities.
I
And
don't
but
want to see it in Calgary.
you don't want,
It'll look at you. It'll look at you and watch the podcast and run you over because you're
bro.
like, I
Oh,
hate
yo,
AI.
bro, you hate it, yeah, bro. You could use that as a fucking as a technique,
No,
buddy.
I'm
You
kidding,
could.
but like I would love to see innovation, touch Calgary.
Yeah, but what is it? You should really search up Waymo. Waymo
Yeah.
accidentally created like a huge. What's that thing when like cars get stuck, and like it
Oh
creates a
yeah.
huge issue,
Yeah.
traffic jam,
I saw
because
that.
Waymo's
You
like,
told me another one.
bro, this happened again like 2 days ago, but it was huge. It was huge, and no Waymo knew what the hell to do. That was very interesting. But guys, thank you very much for tuning into the
Thanks for
podcast.
watching.
All right, thank you for tuning much, and we will be here again tomorrow or the day after. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Bye bye.